kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.
Ten races in the season down and just 6 to go as tonight we begin the first round of the playoffs in the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series right here on the old horse racing track at Dover Motor Speedway. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here tonight. And yes, it is once again playoff time as we get set to go on Sim Racing Media. The race for the playoffs has officially begun, and now admittedly, I will apologize, we have done a very, very poor job at letting you guys know that we are getting to the playoffs and what and who is going to be in the playoffs. So let's take a look at that right now, right off the jump. There you see the 12 drivers that will be running for the championship for these first two races in the playoffs. Now, the Extreme Motorsports Series does things a little bit differently. Instead of three race rounds plus one final race, it's going to be 3 2-race rounds. to decide a champion, including that final round final round of 4, at Pocono Raceway and at Phoenix. So it's not just a one and done for this championship. You do have to be consistent over 2 races. This first round is going to be here at Dover and at Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week. Round 2 will see Homestead Miami Speedway and Watkins Glen, and then the round of 4, the championship round, will be at Pocono and at Phoenix to round out this season. Then we go to the All-Star race. Then we have a little bit of fun just before the end of February. So we still have plenty of time to go and plenty of time to get racing here in this championship as qualifying gets set to begin right now. Taking a look at drivers, qualifying has begun, as you can see up in the top corner of your screen. We have had a couple of drivers come out towards the end of pit road, but have not yet made the trek onto the racetrack, except for now. Here is one of the playoff drivers, and he's going to make a very quick retreat back to the pitch. Jacob Jensen going out on a second attempt. Here comes Michael Robinson, as Robinson will be the first driver to get out on track. Now, Michael Robinson not in the playoffs. We do have a couple of series debutants here tonight, one being the driver of the 26, Joshua Vidal, being one of the series debutants coming into today's race, as Robinson takes the green flag on his opening lap. John Wimbish, Gary Wells, and championship points leader Mike Rominger works his way out onto the racetrack to begin his qualifying run. First laps, though, coming in as Robinson will set the opening time. It will be a 23:36 for Michael Robinson, closely followed by Jacob Jensen at a 22:73, a very good time for him. As you notice, Jacob Jensen highlighted in red there on the timing and scoring pylon. Those are the drivers that are in the championship playoffs. So if you see a driver in red, they are in playoff and championship contention. Drivers that are not are racing for the win here tonight and nothing much more. Mike Rominger, slowest so far of the drivers to take the qualifying times, as Alan Dobbs jumps up to the top at a 22:69. That's on his first lap. See what Rominger could do here on lap number 2. He'll go to third, second highest qualifying of the playoff drivers. 24 of Mike Campeggio out on circuit, working on his second lap, 6th quickest out of 7 that have officially put down a time. And Campeggio will be a little bit slower on his second lap. It'll be a 23:04 is the time that will stand. Alex Reeling, dominant winner back at Sonoma in that Appalachian State #1 Ford Mustang. 5th quickest, 3rd of the playoff drivers thus far. Reeling a 22:82 on his first lap, swinging out towards that outside wall in turn 4. Second lap will put him second quickest at a 22:70, fastest of the playoff drivers thus far, as Ed Morris will work his way out onto the circuit. We mentioned series debutant Joshua Vidal here tonight, and Vidal, first lap good enough for 8th as he makes his debut, not only in the playoffs, which is a tricky time to make your debut, but at Dover as well, which is not the easiest of racetracks to make your debut on, as Vidal will hold on to that 8th position. That was before Tommy Haynes came and take it away. Ed Morris up to the top at a 22:68. Very good time for the Kansas winner. as Morris works his way through 3 and 4, trying to solidify that qualifying time, and he will get 1/100th of a second quicker, so a 22.67 for Ed Morris puts him at the top of the pile. Tommy Haynes goes 4th quickest, as right now we have currently gotten everybody that is out on track that has set a time has gone out, has run their time, I should say. As right now, we will bring in the current pole sitter, Ed Morris. Ed, in the playoffs, and right now, one heck of a time at a 22.67, currently has it on pole.
Yeah, car's fast. Track feels good. We're excited for this race. Hopefully that time will stick. There's still a few guys out there that are quick that could lay down a better time. So we'll see what happens. I know Alan was fastest in practice. Alan Fox was fastest in practice. So we'll see what he's got.
Yeah, he's rolling out on track right now. Paul Irvin, Michael Thwaites out on track as well. So, Ed, going into these playoffs, you've had a couple of very good finishes in a row. Of course, a race win and a 3rd-place finish a couple of weeks ago at Talladega. Do you feel as though the momentum is on your side, probably more so than some of these other playoff drivers?
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't feel like we really rolled in with much more of an advantage than anybody else. This is the start of it. So this race will kind of base out our momentum for the remainder of the playoffs. So hopefully we get a good finish here, maybe clock out a win and advance early into the next round. So we're coming into this thing fresh and clean. So just got to do the best we can. I see Alan just put down a heater.
Yeah, just put down the pole. You outlasted Michael Irvin, so you're still the highest qualifying playoff driver. We'll let you get back to it. Ed Morris currently sitting in 2nd on the outside front row.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it.
So that was Ed Morris, and as he mentioned, Alan Fox, very quick. As a matter of fact, the quickest in the practice session. He will go to the top here in qualifying. Rob Haynes looks like he'll be one and done, a 22.72. Good enough to put him 8th quickest, as now another playoff contender, Logan Koger, will jump on in. Onto the racetrack he goes. Just 2 more drivers set to qualify. Timothy Zayas, another series debutant. Ed Morris Sr. would be the final playoff driver to put down a qualifying time. And then last time out, the winner 2 weeks ago at Talladega, Carter Casey, has gone out to the edge of pit road as Logan Koger puts that number 25 All-State machine in P10. There is Carter Casey. Took the win 2 weeks ago at Talladega, final race in the playoffs. However, final race in the regular season, I should say, did not make the playoffs because of the amount of races that he competed in did not meet the minimum for the season. So Carter Casey left with a race win. Another driver who did have a race win that ran afoul of the same rule would have been Bryce Senizak. Remember, he won back earlier in this season at Auto Club. He had mentioned during that post-race interview that he was not going to be around much more, and true to form, he has not been around since then for Bryce Senizak. So we do have 2 race winners this season that have not made the playoffs. Carter Casey being one. As we wait his rollout. Still does have time to get at least 1 lap in with 50 seconds to go, but right now it appears as though it will be Alan Fox who will take the pole in that number 73 Walmart ride. And with about 37 seconds to go, that will pretty much secure the pole for car number 73, as Carter Casey no longer has time to get out there, complete the warm-up lap, and to complete the one of his qualifying times. So that will do it here for this qualifying session. We do have 23 drivers that will take to the grid and try to work their way into the next round of the playoffs, or try to steal a race win from one of those playoff drivers, as we now get set to go and take a look here at the starting grid for tonight's playoff opener. Alan Fox with a time of 22.654 will start on pole, with Ed Morris lining up on the outside of row number 1. Paul Irvin and Alan Dobbs will make up row number 2. Alex Reeling and Austin Karp in row 3. Tommy Haynes and Rob Haynes will make up row 4. Jacob Jensen and Logan Koger will sit in row 5. Row 6 goes to Mike Rominger, the points leader coming into the playoffs, and John Wimbish. Nicholas Caldwell and Gary Wells will make up row 7. Row 8 will go to Michael Thwaites and Joshua Vidal. Daniel Krim and Mike Campeggio in row number 9. Michael Robinson and Nate Orlowski in row 10. It'll be Carter Casey and Ed Morris Sr. in row 11, with Timothy Zayas lining up on the final row of the grid. David Calo is in session, but he will be helping out Michael Self tonight in race control. So David Calo will not start this race. That will move Ed Morris Sr. from the 12th to the 11th row of the grid for tonight's race. Weather conditions here at Dover, just past 2 p.m. in sim time. It'll be a 3-mile-an-hour wind blowing towards the west, 65-degree ambient temperature, 75-degree track temperature. So it is going to take these drivers a little bit of time, not just to get heat in the cars, but heat in the tires and heat in this racetrack, really start laying down some rubber. It'll be 145 laps here tonight from the first playoff race at Dover. Stage break will be at lap 48 here this evening. I'm sure you guys are hearing it, and I appreciate you guys being nice about it in the chat. I am not sure why my voice is cracking as much as it is. It's been a long day for me as we get set to go. Alan Fox rolling off on the grid as we get ready to lock and load here for the first playoff race of the season. A lot of playoff drivers up at the front. Not only will you be able to denote the playoff drivers on the timing and scoring tower by the red highlight, you'll also be able to see them quite clearly on circuit with the red splitter, the red nameplate over the driver's seat in the on the windshield, and the red spoiler, all denoting playoff drivers coming into tonight's race as we open up the playoffs here in the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. Pace car is off, getting set for 145 laps here from the Dover Motor Speedway. We are green. Paul Irvin down on the bottom does get clear, and a little bit of contact between Rob Haynes and Jacob Jensen. See it a lot here at Dover. Those walls come up at you very, very quick. So when you're running side by side, especially on corner exit, it does get a little bit difficult to judge as we ride on board with Jacob Jensen. Fortunately, no harm, no foul between the two playoff drivers, at least for the moment, as already this field's starting to spread out. Michael Robinson trying to get around Joshua Vidal, who's already lost a couple of spots here in the early going. Vidal down 3 as the top 11 currently run where they qualified. Last week's winner, Carter Casey, looking to the inside as Joshua Vidal appears to just want to get out of the way here in the early stages. Nate Orlovsky looking to the inside of him now in that number 29, Timothy Zayas, just getting around him. Alan Fox has already opened up about a half a second lead on Ed Morris, as both Morris and Irving up here in podium positions. Again, both in playoff contention. See a little bit further behind, Alan Dobbs forced to stave off a fight from Alex Reeling, and Reeling now on that bottom will get the spot. Big close swing. It'll be an up and under for Alan Dobbs. At least an attempt at it up and under. And Reeling just able to keep the nose of that Ford Mustang to the outside. Taking that wide line, trying to get the momentum, trying to get the straight shot off of turn 4. Does collect the wall a little bit, but also at the line does collect the spot. Austin Karp, a very intrigued onlooker, sitting behind, as is Tommy Haynes. And now Alan Dobbs forced to relinquish that position as Austin Karp looks to the inside but then tucks back in line. Tommy Haynes will do no such thing, and now Karp looking to the inside, trying to capitalize on Alan Dobbs losing a spot. He'll get another one. The only 3 drivers, Reeling, Karp, and Dobbs, only 3 drivers in the top 10 that have moved spots, as now the caution comes out. And it would appear to be Timothy Zayas, who is nose first in the inside wall. Looks like a rear bumper is that number 22 as well. We'll take a look and see what happened with the debutant. Battling with Michael Robinson, and Robinson, Nate Orlovsky losing the hood of that number 29 as well. We saw it throughout qualifying. So right on board here with Nate Orlovsky. Guys getting up off the corner and then running away from that outside wall. And that there was exactly what we saw happen between Robinson and Zayas, as Tommy Haynes will lead a group of cars into the pits. It's looking like fuel only for a lot of these drivers. Be a little bit early to take fuel here, so 14th on forward. As Logan Koger is going to be forced to stop. Might have been a speeding on exit penalty. Pit road speed here tonight, as is always talked about here at Dover, very, very difficult. It's one of the hardest pit roads to get on the NASCAR circuit. And it's also one of the slowest, 35 miles an hour here at Dover. I believe even Bristol has upped it to 40. It was 35 for the longest time. But I believe even they now have bumped it up to 40 miles an hour. So one of the most difficult and the slowest on the NASCAR calendar, and that is always one of the big talking points when coming to Dover. As we get set to go. Back to green flag racing here momentarily. It was only a one-car spin. Michael Robinson and Nate Orlowski both catching a piece of it. As yes, it would have been a speeding on pit exit penalty for Logan Koger, forcing him to the back of the line, and Michael Robinson charged with causing an incident there. They're the only driver that will be behind him. As we get set, I'm sure, here to double this field back up. As we get set to go back to green flag racing, lights on the pace car are off. Sure, as you guys have seen by the influx of scheduled streams in your subscriptions page on YouTube, we have a lot of racing yet to come here on Sim Racing Media. 3 races here tonight. The Racers Elite Series running their first race of the playoffs as well. Here tonight, they are also at Dover in the trucks. This race here, and then in about an hour or so, it'll be round number 3 of the Western States Racing League, season number 50 for those guys. Racers Elite taking up tomorrow and Thursday. A lot of racing here on Sim Racing Media's green flag is back out. Fox getting a good start. Paul Irvin coming under fire from Austin Karp behind. Alex Reeling also out there on the outside line. He's going to look to try to take over that 3rd spot, and does. A very good start for car number 1 of Alex Reeling. We saw how good, we saw how dominant as the 99 of Rob Haynes catches the wall. We saw how good and dominant Alex Reeling was. Probably the trickiest track that this series has gone to this season, Sonoma. Flat out domination up in wine country earlier on this season. Has not come easy for car number 1 since then, but this is one of those difficult racetracks as well. Could this be the night that Alex Reeling was hoping for, getting himself into the next round of those playoffs, but right now having to get through Ed Morris and Alan Fox. Reeling +2 positions from where he started. Right on board with the ace, car number 1. A little bit further back in the field, another playoff contender. Gary Wells trying to move his way forward. Michael Thwaites falling back against Tommy Haynes, car number 17. Tommy Haynes was one of the drivers that came down pit road under that caution. Every driver, by the way, who did come down during that caution took fuel only. So everyone's still on equal tires, as Joshua Vidal saw him earlier moving down through the field, now starting to work his way back up through the field. In car number 26, as Tommy Haynes puts the pressure on him, as does John Windish in the 98. Sits right now Ed Morris Sr. running in the 22nd position, currently the lowest running of the playoff drivers, as there has been a position swap up front as Paul Irvin has retaken the third position. Here's how it happened. Got to the inside. Reeling gave him plenty of room. Reeling takes the spot. Almost got overtaken by Alan Dobbs. Once again able to win that battle as Mike Rominger continues to move up places, as does Nicholas Caldwell. Dobbs gets a very good run in the 37 coming off of turn 4, putting Alex Reeling down a position. Reeling's going to lose another one. He's down to Austin Karp as well, and you can see why. Look at the right front of Alex Reeling. It is not a black finish on that right front corner anymore. So he has made contact with the wall somewhere. And when you do that here, it is a very difficult run until you can finally come in to fix it. Fortunately for him, though, we are about halfway through this first stage. Stage caution coming out on lap 48. Fortunately for him, does know when he will get a caution. It's just a matter now of hanging on until he gets it, as Reeling now falls in front of Caldwell and Jacob Jensen, who knocks the turn 4 wall down. That'll put a damper on Jacob Jensen's run forward. Top 2 cars in practice are the top 2 on the circuit. Alan Fox currently in front, Ed Morris in second, Alan Dobbs third. As you can see on the timing and scoring pylon, Fox and Dobbs 73-37, the only 2 drivers in the top 10 that are not in playoff contention, as Paul Irvin continues to fall backwards, now getting passed by Mike Rominger. He's been passed by Austin Karp. Now Rob Haynes is going to have a go. Going into turn 1 and will successfully get that position. I believe that clean ally number 48. Looking a little bit flat on that right side. May have hit the wall with that right rear corner. Further back, another playoff driver moving forward, Michael Thwaites. Car number 12, the winner in Indianapolis earlier on this season, making his way forward, trying to push Jacob Jensen past Alex Reeling. For the guys who have hit the wall, it is all a waiting game, as Reeling, one of those drivers, Jacob Jensen another. Damage really does have a serious effect on you at this racetrack. As far as car handling is concerned, and with how notorious this racetrack is, not only in real life but in the sim as well, as Paul Irvin's about to lose 2 spots as he's gotten into the turn 4 wall, or at least had to check up to where he didn't. This place certainly has a reputation for eating up tires, and these drivers are going to find it difficult all night to manage that speed as well as try to save those tires as Jacob Jensen collects the wall. Daniel Krim trying to collect the 12th position, and right now for the moment has it. It's John Wimbish battling side by side with Gary Wells, and Michael Robinson, who we saw earlier on, had to start from the back of the field after being deemed to have caused that incident that brought out the caution on lap 9. Working his way forward, back up into the 16th position. So moving around up front, Austin Karp being put under pressure by Mike Rominger. A little further behind, Carter Casey. with Rob Haynes to the outside of him and now behind. So last week's winner, so far biggest mover in this race, plus 14. The next highest mover forward be the driver in front of him, Nicholas Caldwell, plus 7. Austin Karp, Mike Rominger, battle for 4th. Still continuing. Mike Rominger started in 11th, just outside of the top 10. Getting up into the top 5. He was the championship leader coming into the playoffs. We showed you what the playoff grid looked like. Here are the points coming into the playoffs. Mike Rominger with a 10-point lead over Michael Thwaites. Austin Karp 13 back, Paul Irvin 15 back, Jacob Jensen 16, Alex Rilling 17. Tied with Ed Morris. Ed Morris so far of the playoff drivers has not yet led a lap, but he is the highest running and has been all race, and he currently sits 1.2 seconds behind Alan Fox with about half of that. Back to Alan Dobbs behind him. Alan Fox started on pole out of Syracuse, New York. He's made a big impact ever since he joined the series at Chicagoland earlier on this year. Hasn't quite gotten the win just yet, but he has been a fixture up front at these races earlier on this season. As there's somebody down in the wall on the back straightaway, I believe it's the 29. It is of Nate Orlovsky. Gets the car out of the way and towed back to the pits before the caution could be called. Take a look and see what happened with Orlovsky. Ooh, looked like maybe the right front tire went down. Heard that pop there of the motor blow. Jump on board with Orlovsky. He would have been needing to ride that right front tire really, really hard. If that was a right front tire going down, but with how straight he was coming off the corner, it looked like either that or maybe his wheel had disconnected, which we have seen multiple times. Maybe not in this series, but definitely on Sim Racing Media in recent times. Paul Irvin was as high as 3rd at one point, now struggling to stay in the points for the playoffs as we have 6 laps to go here until we get to the stage break. Rob Haynes about 0.4 of a second behind. Michael Thwaites looks like he's capped out, has gotten about as high as he can get. In 8th position with Daniel Krim behind him in car number 47. Austin Karp still holding off. Mike Rominger. Nicholas Caldwell battling with Carter Casey. That is for 6th and 7th. Where at one point we had 8 of the 10 top 10 runners were playoff drivers. Now it's 8 of the top 12 as Carter Casey and Daniel Krim have worked their way through this field very nicely. But it has been all Alan Fox here thus far. Rominger looking to the inside of Austin Karp. Seen that been an issue with Austin Karp as well this season. Carp having some internet connection issues. And I'm sure with his position in the standings, you'd love to get a couple of extra points, but also don't want to risk it doing anything too crazy as Mike Rominger goes to the inside of Austin Carp. A little bit of a wiggle there from Rominger. He's going to have to fall back in line. Michael Thwaites, Paul Irvin, Daniel Krim, all of these drivers are still in the top 10. Rob Haynes there in the 99 represents 11th, so these guys are just battling for points. They're not battling for who's in, who's out. Austin Carp able to stave off that attack from Mike Rominger, at least for the moment, as Alan Fox starting to catch lap cars here at the completion of lap 48. Mike Campaggio on the outside. He will be lapped, but it will not be for long. Stage brake has come out. Alan Fox takes the first stage here in the playoffs and has led every lap thus far to do it. A dominant first stage by Alan Fox, and we'll try quickly here to bring him up into the booth. Alan Fox, congratulations. Made it look easy in this first stage.
Not doing too bad there. This is usually one of my better tracks, so it's fun to be out here leading some laps for once.
Yeah, you definitely look like it's one of your better tracks. How has the track conditions been? Of course, it's a little bit different for everybody else being in the pack. You being out front, though, how's the track feeling tonight?
Honestly, other than just having a backup corner entry, it feels pretty much the same throughout the whole run, so that's nice. But other than that, yeah, it's just got to keep the clean air to be fast here. Once you get back in the pack, you get pushed loose, and then you start sliding around on the backstretch.
All right, you're leading the field down pit road here. Good luck the rest of the way, and hopefully we didn't give you a penalty.
No penalties here, man. I'll talk to you later, I hope.
All right. It's Alan Fox, your stage winner, and with that, we will take a quick break and be right back. You are watching the first round of the playoffs for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series right here on Sim Racing Media.
Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Green flag getting set to come back out here to begin stage number 2 here at Dover Motor Speedway. Alan Fox has led the whole way. He won the stage and is back up front here early. Ed Morris, who's been in second the entire race, now coming under some serious fire from Alan Dobbs. Dobbs, though, forced to back off as the rest of the field runs side by side behind them. Paul Irvin stuck on that outside lane with Rob Haynes. It looks like Ed Morris in the back. Ed Morris Sr., car number 5. Catching a little bit of wall. As Logan Koger looks to get around him. Back up front, though. Alan Fox has led every single lap thus far. Ed Morris has been in second for every single lap thus far. Spoken to both of these drivers here today as that's Paul Irvin getting a big piece of wall coming out of turn 2. For that to happen so early in this run as well, that's really going to hurt him. Light scrape of the wall there coming out of 4. As this run gets further and further along, that slam of the outside wall really going to have its effect as now he finally gets down to the bottom. Paul Irvin finished 9th in that first stage, qualified in 3rd. First 10 laps or so of this race just before the caution came out went very, very well for him. Unfortunately, it has not gone well since as Austin Karp looks to the inside, looks for 3rd. He's going to get 3rd against Alan Dobbs. And Dobbs going to do that up and under move again. Saw him doing the same thing with Paul Irvin. We saw him do it with Alex Reeling earlier on, and now he's going to add Austin Karp to the list. These guys might not want to fun about too much because already the top 2, here they are, already 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the field as Karp looks to the inside once again. Mike Rominger also looking to follow through. Rominger, one of the biggest movers of this race. Qualifying 11th is up to 5th. Austin Karp blocks off the up and under, or at least he thought he did. And Karp able to make the pass in the center of the corner and make it stick. 2 double-digit position movers here in this race. Daniel Krim is 1. He's plus 11. Running in the 6th position right now, started 17th. And Carter Casey, winner 2 weeks ago at Talladega, the last time this series ran. Running up in 7th position, he is plus 14 after not participating in qualifying. Carter Casey has been on the move forward since the start of this race. One mover in the negative way, biggest mover in the negative way, is Logan Koger. Koger down 9 positions from where he started. Remember, had that trouble earlier in this race that moved him to the back. Logan Koger trying to hold off Michael Thwaites. Right now, the last 3 cars running, all playoff drivers, the 4 highest running playoff drivers at the moment. Ed Morris, Austin Karp, Mike Rominger, and Rob Haynes, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 8th. The 4 lowest running, Gary Wells, and the 3 that you see on screen right now, Logan Koger, Michael Thwaites, and Ed Morris Sr. Carter Casey looking to the inside of Daniel Krim. Krim holding firm on that high line, but Casey's going to get the spot. Now Krim has to be really careful. Unfortunately, the freight train does not go past him on the bottom. He'll only lose the one spot. Nate Arlovsky out of this race after 36 laps. We saw the incident he had, whether it was a tire blowout or a hardware issue coming out of turn 2, hit the wall. Right front corner first, blew the engine on the inside wall. And Timothy Zayas, who was part of the first caution back on lap 10. We've only had one caution for incident thus far. Series debutant here tonight in the 22, Zayas. Out after 16 laps here tonight as drivers starting to move past. Rob Haynes is that inside line right now. Not working for car number 99. He's now getting freight trained on the outside. One of the Canadians in the field, Rob Haynes, was just running up in 8th a moment ago. He has fallen all the way back to 12th. 13th at the line as Tommy Haynes gets past him, and now as Jacob Jensen falls behind, Rob Haynes goes from 8th to 14th on the inside line in a matter of 2 laps. Got some left side damage, it looks like. No right side damage for Rob Haynes. And we saw him, he was down on that bottom line the whole time. So it's not like he could have gone out and got the wall. It's now Tommy Haynes on the bottom, getting passed up by a couple of guys, John Wimbish and Jacob Jensen. Paul Irvin just ahead of those guys as Jensen's going to get past Wimbish. Paul Irvin trying to get past Alex Reeling. Both of those drivers have made contact with the wall here tonight. There appears to be quite a noticeable shift going on here in this race. We spoke so much about it when it came out about a month ago, but the new oval racing system here in iRacing that changes the race groove around as the race goes on. The bottom line here earlier on in this race was dominant. You could run the high line, but it was not of advantage. It appears as though here about halfway through this race that line has shifted. The bottom line maybe has gotten a little bit too hot. Guys trying to save that right front tire. They've moved up, and now those drivers that have moved up are starting to move up. So we see Tommy Haynes on the bottom. Very, very close with John Wimbish coming out of turn 2, and now that's going to open the door for Rob Haynes to try to make a move. As Haynes and Haynes almost make contact. Tommy on the outside, Rob on the bottom. And Rob Haynes down low makes the move. Might have been a strategy call by Rob Haynes to go from 8th to about 14th, as we saw earlier, try to save those tires a little bit. Had 2 cautions here tonight, only 1 for incident. This has been one heck of a race thus far, and going by incredibly quick. It's a little bit over a half hour so far of race time, working lap 78 of 145 here from Dover. Up at the front, haven't missed anything. Alan Fox has grown out his lead ever since the start of the stage. Remember, the top two of Fox and Morris had about a 2-second lead on third place. Well, now Fox has about a 2-second lead on Ed Morris, who has fallen into the clutches of Alan Dobbs. Mike Rominger also not all that far away, as this trio will now start to do battle here for the second position. See Austin Karp swing by in the back of the screen. Ed Morris, for the first time tonight, is going to surrender second place. Morris getting a great run coming out of turn 4. But to no avail, as Dobbs had the move scouted. And that long run for car number 37 once again appears to be paying off. Saw the same exact thing happen at the end of the last stage, where Fox and Morris started to really move forward at the beginning of the stage, and then Morris fell off. Dobbs just about caught him, and then the stage caution came out. It's now Mike Rominger, for the first time tonight, gets on the podium, and for the first time tonight, Ed Morris unseated off the podium. Once again, if you're just joining us, we'll take a look at the playoff standings coming into tonight. Mike Rominger came in with the advantage. 10 points the advantage over Michael Thwaites. Michael Thwaites currently running in the 16th position. Has not had a night to write home about. Austin Karp currently in 5th. Paul Irvin in 9th. Jacob Jensen in 10th. Alex Reeling in 11th. Ed Morris in 4th. Rob Haynes 12th. Nicholas Caldwell running in 8th. Logan Koger in 14th now, as he's just gotten past John Wimbish. Gary Wells currently running in 17th, with Ed Morris Sr. running in 20th. That is where the playoff drivers currently run in this race. Caldwell, Irvin, and Jensen swapping the final spots in the top 10. Irvin up to 8th. Drivers highlighted in red in the timing tower. Playoff contenders here for this series. If you missed our rundown at the beginning of the broadcast about the playoffs, it'll be 3 rounds of 2 races as we watch this battle for 8th. This round will be Dover and Las Vegas. The round of 8 will head to Miami and then Watkins Glen. And the championship 4, instead of just being 1 race, will be 2. It'll be Pocono and Phoenix. So you cannot win the championship with 1 race. You have to do it with the consistency over 2. All 3 of these drivers here have made their case to be in the playoffs, as have the other 9 that are in the playoffs. And now, as they run for a championship, Mike Rominger, regular season champion, which is why he has the 10-point advantage, even though only having 1 win. Only 1 driver able to get more than 1 win this season. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe it's Austin Karp who has 2 wins on the season. Everybody else, only 1 win. 9 different winners in 10 races this season. And if Alan Fox can take this race down, or even Alan Dobbs, as Dobbs has cut that gap in half. See Dobbs really closing in. That will make it 10 for 11 so far this season as they get past Mike Campaggio, putting him a lap down. Campaggio has not had a good run here tonight in that number 24. He had just gotten put a lap down right as the stage caution was coming out. So Campaggio didn't spend more than a couple hundred yards a lap down here early. But he is now well and firmly a lap down here as battle for 8th. Jacob Jensen making a move on Paul Irvin. Both giving each other plenty of room coming off at turn 4. Irvin trying to respect that outside wall that he got burned by earlier on, right at the beginning of this stage. Got burned by that outside wall. As Alan Fox has led all 94 of the 145 laps run here tonight. He won the stage earlier on. Can he win the race? Maybe not if Alan Dobbs has something to say about it. We'll take a break. Be right back for the conclusion of the first race here in the playoffs for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series, presented by Ricmotech.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
The pit cycle has begun here at Dover Motor Speedway just as we went to break, and you could see there is a ton of damage on the front end of car number 7, Ed Morris, and we will try our best to go back and take a look and see what happened here with Ed Morris running from the race lead. Let's try this one more time here, see what happened with Ed Morris. May have been a tire go down. See, going rather slow. Coming through 1 and 2. Might be a lap early here on whatever. Oh, nope, here he comes down pit road and... ooh! We talked about it right at the beginning of the show. This is one of the toughest, most dangerous pit roads to try to get onto, and Ed Morris just proved it as he hit that pit wall a ton, and it's going to cost him a lot more than just some time in the pits. Right now, your current leader is Carter Casey. He has not yet made his pit stop. He last came down on lap 50 at the end of the stage, much like everybody else. So at this rate, pit stops are done. The effective race leader, as Casey comes in, relinquishing the lead to Daniel Krim. The effective race leader right now is not Alan Fox, it is Alan Dobbs, currently out in front. So the 73 gives way to the 37 here in the early stages, and you saw there at the bottom graphic just before Alan Dobbs came into pit road. The long run has been the friend of car number 37 here tonight. Daniel Krim now comes down pit road, as does Alex Reeling. Oh, big incident. That's the 48. Caution is going to come out as Paul Irvin. And a yellow nose looks like the front end of John Wimbish. As this will be caution number 2 for incident here tonight. Yep, there's John Wimbish. Front end of his car gone. So there has been quite a kerfuffle here over these last couple of laps. And we'll take a look here and see what happened. Oh, Paul Irvin's already gone there. Let's try it again here. Looks like maybe... Oh, he's already lost the back end. So something must have happened earlier on. Gets loose coming off of turn 4, and then Wimbish just with nowhere to go. Not entirely sure where Paul Irvin would have gotten that damage. Let's take a look. This is him coming out of the pits. Or at least it will be momentarily. Here he is. Oh no, so he had damage coming into the pits. Let's try to go back and see now him trying to get onto pit lane. Maybe he had an incident in the same vein as Ed Morris. Yes, he did. 2 playoff drivers with big damage coming onto pit road. And that, without doubt, has caused some pretty big problems for Paul Irvin's championship hopes. There he is coming around on the back of the screen. Car really yawed out as Mike Rominger comes down pit road. Only drivers to come down pit road here during this caution period, all playoff drivers. We mentioned 2 playoff drivers having an issue coming on to pit road. This was Ed Morris earlier on. Hit the barrels at the end of pit road. And then, as you just saw, Paul Irvin getting loose. Back end comes around and into the pit barrels on pit road. Paul Irvin was not in the lead, if I remember correctly. He may have been second or third in the pit cycle. But Ed Morris was in the race lead when he came in, as a host of drivers all get the wave around. Drivers that came down pit road under the green flag that were still trapped a lap down. So Michael Thwaites in there, Jacob Jensen, Carter Casey, Austin Karp, Mike Campeggio, Michael Robinson, all coming back around, as Daniel Krim will be your race leader. Daniel Krim and Joshua Vidal, 47 and 26, with the only two cars that did not get a chance to pit under the green. And those are the drivers that will be leading the inside row. Alan Dobbs will be on the outside of row 1. Vidal and Fox row 2. Gary Wells, Mike Rominger, Nicholas Caldwell all got their laps back on track, therefore did not have to take the wave around. Green flag is back in the air. Ed Morris Sr. pulls over, lets the rest of the field go. Daniel Krim pulls out into the race lead. Very different front of the field than what we've seen so far here tonight. Daniel Krim out front. Alan Dobbs now giving chase. He would have been the race leader had the pit cycle worked its way completely through. Alan Fox, it's the lowest he has been on track here tonight in third. Came in from the race lead, almost caught, and into the inside wall hard goes Alan Fox. Contact with Joshua Vidal coming out of turn 2 has put the pole sitter and the race leader for most of this race in some serious jeopardy. And there's probably his closest rival, Alan Dobbs, now taking over the race lead. Let's see what happened coming off of turn 2. Almost had him cleared. Net code, car 73 into the inside wall. See it one more time, this time from on board. Joshua Vidal. And Alan Fox hard into the inside wall. Now we'll let this run here for a second, because coming out of turn 4, Daniel Krim catches the wall. That opens the door for Alan Dobbs. And that was your pass for the race lead. And that is how it sits. Right now, your top 3 are non-playoff drivers. Your top 4... Oh, big hit into the outside wall in turn 2. Jacob Jensen hard into the wall, as was Michael Thwaites. Looked like Michael Robinson in the 8 also caught a big piece of that, as the front end of that 64 and the back end, for that matter, destroyed. Heavy nose first hits into the outside wall in turn 2 for both the 64 and the 12. Have brought out our third caution of the night. And hold on, because this is going to be a big one. Jensen and Thwaites. Oh. Thwaites tried to do the diamond and tried to cut in behind Jacob Jensen. Unfortunately, he mistimed it right on board here, Thwaites. Just going to try to get the run coming off, and boy, and there's Michael Robinson with nowhere to go. On board Jacob Jensen. Got the move done, then all of a sudden I'm turning left. Car's not going left. And my goodness, that's why. See this again. Just too much. There it was. Michael Robinson just with nowhere to go other than right into the nose of Michael Thwaites. Here it is from Robinson. Oof. Center. So this entire run has changed the complexion of this race completely. Alan Fox, who was the dominant car of the race, is now in pit road with severe damage. Jacob Jensen and Michael Thwaites, two playoff contenders that looked like they had a top 10 finish, or at least the very bottom end of the top 10 finish, ready to go. Now in the pits with damage. 14 cars, 14 healthy cars currently circulating this field. Ed Morris, by the way, we saw his misstep coming onto pit road. He is back in this race. He is 16 laps down, running in 21st. Now 2 laps behind John Wimbish would be his next position. Paul Irvin, there he is, back out on track. He also came to blows with the end of the pit wall. Alan Fox back out on track. He is 3 laps down. Those two are on the same lap in 15th and 16th. Jacob Jensen on pit road. Michael Robinson on pit road. John Wimbish on pit road, all trying to repair their cars. Michael Thwaites, the first playoff retirement of this race. He will go no farther than lap 114. Green flag set to come out. Alan Dobbs has elected the outside line here for this restart. He'll pin Joshua Vidal down on the bottom. Mike Rominger and Daniel Krim make up row number 2. Green flag is in the air. We are back racing here at Dover. Dobbs already out to a half a second lead as Vidal and Krim battle for second, almost 3 wide in the back as guys try to find lanes. Gary Wells up on that high lane trying to find a way to move forward. He'll get to the outside of Mike Rominger just as Austin Karp gets to the inside of Mike Rominger. And Rominger's going to beat them both into turn 1. Rominger not quite clear just yet, as Gary Wells still hanging out on that outside lane. Wells and Haynes, Rob Haynes, car 99, getting into the outside wall. Top 3 have settled in. Alan Dobbs, into the outside wall goes the 87. And around goes the 4. Gary Wells hits the outside wall down the back straightaway. Mike Rominger is going to be the victim. Fortunately, he looks like he's going to get away rather free. Left rear damage for sure, but it could have been a lot worse. See what happened coming off of turn 2. May have made a little bit of contact beforehand. That's where the left rear damage comes from for Rominger. From above. May have made some slight contact there, but the 87 certainly does get into the wall coming out of 2. Before Mike Rominger falls out of view behind the Ally gantry over turn 3. Second half of this race has not been kind to the playoff drivers. Playoff drivers that have fallen victim to issue here in this second stage just since lap 100. Gary Wells, Mike Rominger, Paul Irvin, Jacob Jensen, Michael Thwaites, and Ed Morris have all been banged up in just inside the last 25 laps. As this has gone from a rather cordial, straightforward affair to a knock him out, drag him out here at Dover. Only one retirement, I'll make it 2 now, from that incident back on lap 114. Michael Thwaites done immediately after the incident. Jacob Jensen did get back out, ran a lap, and then pulled it in and was done for the night. So both the 12 and the 64 are done. Here's Paul Irvin. Much like Ed Morris had a bout with the water barrels on pit entry. So about 75 laps ago, Ed Morris, Mike Rominger, Alex Reeling, and Paul Irvin were your top running playoff drivers. Your top running playoff drivers now are Austin Karp, Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, and Logan Coger. Those are your top 4 playoff drivers here tonight now. We will restart with 19 laps to go. Alan Dobbs is your race leader. He has once again chosen the outside lane. This time he puts Daniel Krim on the bottom. Joshua Vidal and Austin Karp will make up row 2. Nicholas Caldwell and Carter Casey, row 3. Row 4 goes to Rob and Tommy Haynes. Row 5 goes to Logan Coger and Mike Campeggio, who is the only driver here tonight that has been lapped on track twice. He's now looking at a top 10 finish. Green flag set to come back out here at Dover. 19 laps to go. First race of the playoffs. Back green here at Dover. Bad start for Krim on the bottom. That opens the door for Austin Karp to go from 4th to 2nd going into turn 1. Carter Casey getting around Joshua Vidal on the outside line. Casey knows what it feels like to win here in this series. He won the last points race. As Casey now looks to the bottom of Daniel Krim. Nicholas Caldwell looking to the inside of Joshua Vidal. Both drivers will get spots. Rob Haynes now trying to do the same. Big block from Alan Dobbs on Austin Karp, and Karp will get the race lead for the first time here tonight. We have seen a pass for the race lead. Karp tried to cut back up in front of Dobbs and spins out. Caution is out. Car number 19 backwards in the turn 1 wall. The last 30 laps, if you are a playoff driver, have not been your friend. Every single playoff driver, except for Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, Alex Reeling, and Ed Morris Sr., have been caught up in some issue in just the last 30 laps. This one, the most recent. Karp puts a Dobbs puts a big block on Austin Karp. See Dobbs. Oh no, that was Dobbs. Boy, Daniel Krim runs right through the 19 with nowhere to go. I had thought with the way it looked going into turn 1 that maybe Karp had swung up to try to complete the pass or to try to get himself a better run going into turn 1, but that was not the case. That was Dobbs thinking he was clear, trying to move down, and just wasn't. And then here's where Logan Koger gets into it. That's with Tommy Haynes, relatively light as compared to, boy, Ed Morris almost caught a big chunk of that. He's right on board with Daniel Krim. Boy, and just nowhere to go as Karp started to work his way up the racetrack. From on board, Alan Dobbs. I bet you he thinks he's clear and just drifts down ever so slightly. And he wasn't clear. Alan Dobbs, by the way, has been given an EOL penalty for causing an incident, so the lead will now go to Carter Casey, who will not only be looking to become just the second driver to win multiple races this season, but the first to win back-to-back. Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, Joshua Vidal, Tommy Haynes, your top 5. Alex Reeling, Mike Rominger, Gary Wells, Alan Dobbs, and Mike Campeggio are the top 10. Another thing to look at here is tires. Carter Casey, Rob Haynes, Joshua Vidal, Tommy Haynes, and Alex Reeling all came in on lap 116. Mike Rominger and Gary Wells came in after their incident on lap 123. Alan Dobbs, Mike Campeggio, Ed Morris Sr., and Logan Koger have all come in under this caution on lap 130. And Nicholas Caldwell, the man you see scrubbing off the tires on the outside line, trying to get some heat back in is the one who really needs to do it the most because he last came in back on 107. He has the oldest tires in the field of any driver that is contending for this race win. 12 cars are on the lead lap. Alan Fox, car number 73, here he comes. He was the lucky dog recipient under this yellow. He is the only driver 1 lap down. Paul Irvin is 2 laps down. Austin Karp is done for the night. Green flag getting set to come back out after our 5th caution of the race. 12 laps to go. Carter Casey looking to go 2 in a row. Nicholas Caldwell trying to win his first of the season. Green flag back in the air. Field settles out, and now contact between Alan Dobbs. Mike Campeggio gets in it. Caution's going to come back out, and Ed Morris caught up in it as well. It looked like a black car that might have been Alex Reeling, who got caught up on that outside line. Let's take a look and see what happened here. Oh no, it was Wells. They were 3 wide with plenty of room. Let's take a look from above here. Oh, Wells catches the wall again. This time he doesn't bounce off quite as significantly as he did when he hit Rominger. Once again, it was the 87 bouncing off the wall. And into Mike Campeggio, who has seen his race turn from bad to worse. Paul Irvin coming in, trying to get more damage repaired. Gary Wells doing the same. And as you just saw, that will get Alan Fox, pole sitter, stage winner, led the first 94 laps of this race. Back on the lead lap. It has been a wild last 35 laps here from Dover. First, it was Ed Morris pitting from the race lead, sliding into the wall. Paul Irvin, then not that far later, followed suit. Caution did not come out for either one of those incidents. Then Paul Irvin did bring out the caution. After spinning, coming off of turn 4, collecting John Wimbish. Then it was a big one. Michael Thwaites, Jacob Jensen, and Michael Robinson bringing the end of the day to Jensen and Thwaites. Then after that, contact between Gary Wells and Mike Rominger. Bring out another caution. More contact with a playoff driver. This time it was up at the front between Alan Dobbs and Austin Karp. That knocked Karp out of the race. And now this incident here with Alan Dobbs and Gary Wells and Mike Campeggio, all of that inside the last 35 laps here at Dover. And this was after having just one caution for incident in the first 100. And notice a lot of those incidents, playoff contenders. Field doubling back up, getting ready to start once again. Carter Casey, Nicholas Caldwell on the front row. Rob Haynes, Joshua Vidal, row 2. Alex Reeling, Tommy Haynes, row 3. Then it's Mike Rominger, Ed Morris Sr., Logan Koger, and Gary Wells, your top 10. Ed Morris, you see him without the front end to the back. Same thing with Paul Irvin. Mike Campeggio still out on track, as well as Alan Fox, who has just gotten back on the lead lap. Green flag will come out with 7 laps to go here in what has turned out to be a wild first race here in the playoffs. Carter Casey leading them down. Green flag back in the air. 7 laps to go. Joshua Vidal stuck on that outside line. Rob Haynes is able to make his way through. Alex Reeling now is going to look to try to get through into 4th. Up front, Carter Casey, Nicholas Caldwell. Carter Casey has been the biggest mover of the race for a vast majority of this race. Did not qualify. Started in the 21st position. He now finds himself in the race lead with 5.5 laps to go. Holding off 2 playoff drivers, Nicholas Caldwell and Rob Haynes. Caldwell, you know, wants to get his first win of the season. Haynes looking for his second. Four laps to go. Top 3 running line astern with about a half a second gap back to Joshua Vidal. Again, series debutant in the car, number 26. Holding off Alex Reeling, Mike Rominger, and Logan Koger. Non-playoff driver up at the front, holding off 2 playoff drivers. A series debutant holding off 3. As Carter Casey blocking that inside line. On Nicholas Caldwell. But Caldwell's going to look to get to the bottom coming off of turn 4. He will get there. 2 laps to go. And Nicholas Caldwell, for the first time tonight, trying to get into the race lead as a battle for Ford supremacy up at the front. Carter Casey wins the race off the corner. That outside line has been so good at defending all race long. Now Rob Haynes is going to look to put his name in this fight. 1 lap to go. Nicholas Caldwell on the bottom. Carter Casey has gotten the edge off the corner. Each of the last 3 corners. He's going to need it one more time. Carter Casey gets clear. Casey through 3 and 4, coming out of the final corner. Carter Casey goes back to back here in the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. It's the second multiple time winner here in this series this season, and the first to go back to back, and he did it starting 21st without putting down a qualifying time. What a drive from Carter Casey all night long in what turned into a wild night here in Dover. Let's talk to him. Our race winner, Carter Casey. Carter started from the back after not qualifying, and boy, did you make it work here tonight. Race winner, back-to-back race wins here in this series.
Yeah, that was an interesting few final laps there. I thought with that incident between the 37 and the 19, I was kind of convinced we were getting caught up in that. It was a miracle I didn't cross the exit of the pit road and get a penalty there. That was fun. Really good hard racing at the end. 34, can't thank him enough for racing me really, really hard, but really, really clean at the same time. That was a good battle. He was getting some good runs off of 4, and a couple times I throttled up a little too early, and he was very close to making me pay for that.
How concerned did you get when Caldwell got to your inside there with 2 laps to go? We saw on the backstretch the previous time you had thrown a block, and then he got to your inside coming off of 4, coming to 2 to go. How concerned did you get that he actually got down there?
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned. I wasn't going to block a second time. I did that one time and got away with it. I wasn't going to push my luck too hard there, but yeah, I was just more concerned that being on the outside, if I throttle up too early or just miss the entry point, you get up in the marbles, and then I would have probably fell back to 4th or 5th if that would have been the case. You just lose so much momentum. So that was really the biggest concern. I had a little bit of right side damage because I tagged the fence at one point in the race and felt a little bit tight on me, but just was able to make it work on the outside. That was good stuff.
We go to the next race in the playoffs as there goes your engine. Next race in the playoffs is going to be, as I look down the schedule, it's going to be Las Vegas. What are your thoughts going to Vegas next week? And what are your thoughts, again, not having an off week for the rest of the season?
Yeah, it'll be... I'm going to try and make every race. Me joining late, I kind of just wanted to get experience with these guys and race with them, and I'm going to make every race I can. If something comes up, though, I'll have to maybe miss a race or 2. But right now, the plans are to make the rest of the regular season, or the playoff races, and look forward to it. Vegas should be fun.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, just a shout out to Ed and everybody that helps run this league. They run a pretty tight ship over here. Big thank you to Hutch Sport Racing, All-Star 15 TV, Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast, Broken Oak Kennels, and Drinking Bros Auto Racing. Just a huge shout out to those guys as well. And thank you for the broadcast.
No problem. Back-to-back wins for Carter Casey, just the second duplicate winner of the season, bud. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Now go to our second place finisher here tonight, Nicholas Caldwell.
Yeah, my bad.
Yep, there goes our copyright. Nicholas Caldwell, your second place finish here tonight. Put up a valiant effort with a couple of laps to go there. Just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, I'm really bad here, so I'll take second. I didn't want to door the 28 either, so just thinking big picture there. Thanks to Rob for kind of letting me in there on the restart and giving us both a chance at the end, but I wanted to do that the right way. I didn't want to door him, and yeah, I think it worked out good for all of us.
You were one of the bigger movers in this race, and you were consistently between 5th and 10th here for most of the night. What was your secret to the consistency and being able to be competitive, not just on the short runs, but also be able to make some moves on the longer run as well?
Yeah, my teammate Alan Dobbs spent some time with me in practice just going over the best way to save tires, because we knew we wouldn't have the shortest runs, and we wouldn't have extremely long runs either. So it's kind of finding that median. So my teammate Alan Dobbs really helped me there. He showed he was strong and got caught up in something there. But overall, good day for us, and I'm ready for next week.
Speaking of next week, we go to Las Vegas next week. What are your thoughts there after being the highest finishing playoff driver here tonight?
I just hope we have a good run and repeat what we did today and move on to the next round.
Fair enough. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'll thank Rob there again for helping me out there on the restart and not putting us all in a bad situation. On that last run, I was like, I think I was 10 laps older tires than everybody else. So just to be able to finish the race, I was just trying to shoot for a top 5, but to have a shot at the win and be in real contention there was very positive.
All right, Nicholas Caldwell, second place finish here tonight. Highest finishing of the playoff drivers in the first playoff race. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you so much.
We'll now go to our third place finisher here tonight, Rob Haynes. Rob, a solid run for you tonight, up and down throughout the top 10 for most of the race. But I would say a third place finish, second highest finishing playoff driver here tonight. I'm sure you'll take that going into Vegas.
Yeah, I will, Frank. I'm excited about that. That was a bit of luck falling my way, and avoided a couple of wrecks, and man, got hairy there for a bit. But yeah, that's going to go a long way to getting into the next round of the chase here.
You mentioned avoiding a couple of wrecks. We can only explain it so much. How difficult is it, especially at a place like down the backstretch coming out of turn 2, where you see a lot of wrecks happen here? How difficult is it to get through one of these wrecks with how tight the racing line is and with how narrow the racetrack overall is?
Yeah, you got to hope the guy behind you is paying attention, because I mean, I had to be on the brakes hard there going into 3, I think it was, and Carter, a race winner here, got down on the inside there below the race line, just trying to make sure he didn't get into me, and we both came out of it clean there, and that's what it takes. I mean, you got to trust the guys behind you, and sometimes you don't make it, sometimes you do, Frank.
We go to, you mentioned luck here a lot tonight. We go to the home of luck, Las Vegas Motor Speedway, next week for the final race in the round of 12. What are your thoughts going into Vegas with a nice third-place finish under your belt here in the first race?
Man, I really like Vegas. I'm pretty successful there. Maybe not in wins, but top 5s. And if I can come out with another top 5, Frank, I think I'll be in a good spot. You know, I hate to see guys wreck, but some of the big chase guys got taken out tonight, and I need to capitalize on that. So we'll see how it goes. But Vegas, I love Vegas, so looking forward to it.
All right, anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yes, you and Sim Racing Media, thanks for hanging in with us and having fun. Let's see who else. Extreme Motorsports, of course, Ed and the admins. My fellow competitors, man, it's fun. And, of course, my family, my 3 daughters, my son. Shout out to them in case they ever watch.
All right, your third-place finisher here tonight, second highest playoff finisher, Rob Haynes. Bud, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Frank. And congrats to Carter there on the win. That's pretty awesome.
Yep, and that will do it for the interview portion here tonight. And boy, what a race that we saw here tonight. The first 100 laps seemed pretty straightforward, pretty mundane. It looked as though it was going to be Alan Fox's race to lose, and then everything changed in the last 45 laps of that race. We went through it. We went through all the incidents that we saw just before that last restart. So many playoff drivers involved in those incidents, and there are going to be a lot of guys in the championship playoffs that are going to be on the back foot going into Vegas. So it's going to be a race where I'm sure these guys are going to be hoping that they do not have a repeat of this week, especially come the end when they possibly need to make a couple of big moves forward in order to get into that next round. We'll take a look now at the finishing results here for tonight's race. Carter Casey, back-to-back wins, second duplicate winner of the season. Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes rounding out the podium. Joshua Vidal on debut comes home in fourth place. Alex Reeling, your third highest finishing playoff driver. He comes home in the top 5. Tommy Haynes, Mike Rominger, Logan Koger, Ed Morris Sr., and Gary Wells round out the top 10. Ed Morris Sr. doing what he's done all season long, hang around in the back, get through all the incidents, and come away with a top 10 finish. That strategy once again pays dividends here tonight. Alan Fox, pole sitter, stage winner, most laps led here tonight, comes away with 11th place, just barely on the lead lap. Mike Campeggio, who was the only driver to get lapped on track twice here tonight, got caught up in that late incident with Alan Dobbs. He will come home in 12th on the lead lap. Paul Irvin, we saw what happened with him coming onto pit road. He'll finish in 13th. Alan Dobbs was done after that second incident. Austin Karp done after the incident prior to that. Daniel Krim also caught up in the incident with Austin Karp. He was done. Ed Morris, we saw how he spun coming onto the pits. He will finish 17th. Jacob Jensen, Michael Thwaites take each other out. Finish 18th and 19th. Michael Robinson comes home in 20th. John Wimbish, Nate Orlowski, Timothy Zayas will round out the field here tonight. And again, David Calo was in race control here tonight. He did not participate in the race. So again, the highest finishing playoff drivers here tonight: Nicholas Caldwell, Rob Haynes, Alex Reeling, and Mike Rominger. Your 4 lowest finishing playoff drivers here tonight: Paul Irvin, Austin Karp, Ed Morris, Jacob Jensen, and Michael Thwaites. Those were the bottom 4 playoff contenders here tonight. So that will do it for us here this evening from the Dover Motor Speedway. I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. We will see you next week from Las Vegas, Nevada in Las Vegas Motor Speedway to determine who will make it into the round of 8 in the playoffs here for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. But until then, remember, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go: Ricmotech.com.